But first, climate crusader Bowen thinks his green transition's going fine. But out in the real world, everyone knows the government's energy policy is a slow-motion train wreck. And it was always going to be like this. Once officialdom decided to run the power grid to reduce emissions rather than deliver affordable and reliable electricity, we were on hiding to nothing, a return to the dark ages, quite literally. And the fact that you're all starting to wake up to it, to the rort that is renewables, explains why Climate 200 spent $11 million at the last election trying to boost the vote of the Teals. In the 14 years since energy policy has been all about climate, East Coast wholesale power prices have risen dramatically, in many cases more than double. Today, the New South Wales electricity price is more than double that in Texas, for instance, where they have no comparable crazy climate fixation. Here's how the Australian Financial Review, and hardly a climate sceptic that paper, described the energy transition this morning based on the contributions to its recent Energy and Climate Summit. Speaker after speaker, the paper reported, tried hard to be positive about the energy transition. But make no mistake, that optimism is only surface deep. The paper said the progress that has been made on the energy transition isn't enough. The replacement of an ageing fleet of coal-fired power plants with a combination of large-scale renewable energy firmed by gas and batteries isn't happening fast enough, said the Financial Review. The rollout of transmission infrastructure isn't where it needs to be also. And most of all, it said, new supply isn't coming into the market nearly quickly enough to meet the rising demand created by the electrification of the economy, population growth, and more recently, data centres. Now, in other words, it's a mess. In the calendar year 2024, some 56% of New South Wales and Victoria's power came from coal, meaning the idea that this will reduce to just 10% in 5 years' time, this is the 2030 target, well, that's a nonsense. And the idea that prices will come down as part of this green transition is even more absurd, given that speaker after speaker demanded, and I quote, policies to encourage long-term investment to ensure a smooth transition to renewables generation. Now, what that means in other words is more and more taxpayer subsidies. More money out of your pocket dressed up as government payments. Or a new carbon tax, only this time it will be called an emissions safeguard mechanism. Now, it's obvious what a rational energy system would entail for Australia. So no more coal-fired power stations under this plan should close without a reliable alternative. We need more gas out of the ground fast. And no more subsidies for renewables, because if they're really as good as they say, if they really are cheap, well, they don't need the money. And once and for all, we have to end the nuclear ban and allow the market to be tested. Now, if we were fair income in this country, that is what we would do. It's what the Europeans are doing after 2 decades of going down the wind and solar path. China, Russia, India and the US, all the big emitters, well, they're not doing any of that. They're charging ahead with fossil fuels. I mean, that's the reality. And yet here in Australia, we've got a government hell-bent on destroying our economic and manufacturing future. And we've got a coalition that doesn't know what it believes in anymore, that seems hell-bent on destroying itself.